I'm taking the strap. I'm strapped up.
What's happening? What was that about?
Let's make the fight happen. We strapped the fuck up.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 114 of SZN Podcast. I'm your boy Kam.
I'm your boy Flowz.
And as always, guys, usual housekeeping message, guys, make sure you head over to our Instagram, which is Strap Season Podcast, or our Twitter, which is Strap Season Pod. Link in the bio on both of those platforms there. And that link will take you to where we're situated streaming-wise, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, if you like your audio, if you got the visuals, the YouTube channel link is also there as well. So make sure you guys run it up, like, subscribe, leave us a good review, engage with us. But yeah, as always, Flowz, you know, how you doing? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, bro. What you saying?
Yeah, not too bad. Got a couple reviews to do, and one preview for next week as well. Let's should we start at home like we usually do?
Yeah. Let's do that.
As well. Katie Taylor, Karen Carabajal, I think is the opponent. Yeah, Flowz, I know you caught that one. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on that. Like, I don't think we haven't really discussed it prior to this. Usually we tend to discuss fights, etc., before we even come on. But yeah, man, what were your thoughts on that one? We've seen Katie Taylor get a dub, an expected W, against an opponent that was pretty game, to be honest. A very game opponent. Unbeaten. Yeah. She came in with what? This Karen chick came in with unbeaten record, looking to make a statement. Yeah, what are your thoughts on, I guess, the performance from Katie Taylor, how she handled the pressure that this chick brought to her, and the fight itself?
Katie Taylor kills me because, like, I think we said it when we previewed the fight, that regardless of the level of this opponent, it's going to be a banger because of the way Katie Taylor fights. I've said previously that usually with the best fighters take away your attributes. They take that away from you. Yeah. They strip you of what you're good at. They don't allow you to do what you want to do. But Katie Taylor will allow you.
She's the opposite, right? Yeah, she's kind of like, she almost adds to your skill set almost. It makes you look good. Yeah, she'll let
you do what you want to do, but she'll still dominate you, if that makes sense. She'll just do it better than you. She'll fight your game and beat you. So yeah, it's one of those ones. Like, Carabajal was game. Fair play to her. Very game. She wasn't there. She was good. She was landing her shots. She was doing her work as well. But once again, Katie Taylor is relentless. She was on top of it, and she makes the fights interesting, Katie Taylor, because she's not really there trying to box and move too much. Like, if you land your shot, she wants to get off her shots.
Basically.
So, but yeah, it was a good entertaining fight. Some might say, signs of Katie Taylor slipping, and we've said that, to be fair, in the past, that maybe that's playing a factor. But I've seen it for so long from Katie that I just think that's just her. I can't lie. I just think it's just her, that she'll fight to the level of her opponent as such and make it interesting, but we'll come out with a win.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts?
It was. I'll probably say that it's probably not the most action-packed Katie Taylor fight that we've seen and we've been treated to. Obviously, we've been treated to some gems over her career, right? We've seen her in some beautiful action-packed fights, the Pursuit ones, and obviously Serrano, etc. So this wasn't to the level of those ones in terms of it being a barnstormer. Obviously, it was still explosive in portions, and obviously, you know, when Katie Taylor explodes, like, she really goes for it. She really explodes. So there were portions where it was more competitive and explosive, but I think it was just a level below what the most recent fights we've seen from Katie Taylor. That could be for a number of things.
It was still one-sided, if that makes sense. And those fights were nip and tuck at points, but this was still one-sided. Yeah.
And it could be for a number of things. As you mentioned, the age might be playing a factor. She's 36 now. I think maybe going on 37 next year. So that could be one thing. Or motivation. It's an opponent that she's expected to beat quite handedly. I won't call this Karen chick. I want to say she's a no-name, but I guess the women's boxing world and sort of where Katie Taylor's been, and from her standpoint, she kind of like a nobody, I suppose. So she might not be as motivated as she was, for example, in the Amanda Serrano fight, which is obviously a huge fight over an MSG, packed out crowd in America, etc. So yeah, those could be the reasons as to why, that it wasn't, I guess, the best Katie Taylor performance, but it was still enough, I guess, to win this fight, and clearly in the eyes of judges, and I guess the eyes of the world. But yeah, in portions, it was a very exciting fight, but in the portions, I have to things myself, this is very one-sided, and it's not really, really doing it for me. I think, I guess I don't want to take too much looking at the performance, to be honest, Flowz. I guess the performance was what it was. And as you said, for me, what I noticed was, Katie Taylor does let her opponents kind of shine, and she does fight their fight. But what she will do is she will just outwork you and outvolume you, to be honest. Same style. I say I'll match your style, but I'll just do it more than you, basically. And that's what she was doing pretty much for the most of the night against Carabajal. And that's what got her the W, to be honest. It's interesting because obviously last week, Flowz, we touched upon and we asked the question in terms of, is it time for this lady to cash out? She's achieved everything, etc. And I was quite vocal in saying that obviously if she's going to have one more fight, obviously has to be, we highlighted that it has to be an island because she hasn't fought an island. And it's probably going to be the Amanda Serrano rematch. I see no reason. And obviously the interviewer in the ring post-fight was like, what's happening next? And Katie Taylor literally said, I want Croke Park. And she mentioned Amanda Serrano she wants. So she herself knows, I feel like, that, if she can get that one major fight in Ireland, she did say it doesn't really matter in terms of, she said, it just, first of all, it's the Croke Park, has to be Croke Park, 80,000. And if it's Serrano, happy days. If not, we'll see. But I guess she preferably wants Amanda Serrano. And I would like to see that again. It's always interesting when you see, as a champion, and the fact that she won that fight, her calling out Serrano again. A lot of people I guess looking into that thinking, why would she call out the girl she just beat again? Unless she knows that she didn't really win that first fight, because obviously that first fight was very contentious for her. And till this day, some people are debating, saying that Serrano won that fight, not Katie Taylor. So, but I understand that, but at the same time, she will call out Serrano because, let's be honest, Serrano's the money. In terms of all the opponents she can fight, Serrano's the one that can get the biggest bag. Let's be real. So, that wasn't surprising for me. But there could be a little bit of a spanner in the works because isn't Hearn suing Jake Paul at the moment?
I forgot about that.
100 million.
But
it's
that's for,
it's a big lawsuit.
Look, for accusing them of match fixing. Paying the refs. I don't think it will have an impact on the business being made.
I hope not.
In terms of, that's true. We've not heard too much about that, but
I haven't, because when it first broke, I thought it was a joke thing, but then apparently it's serious. Like he is actually they are actually going through proceedings right now.
And the ref, one of the refs suing Jake Paul as well, I believe. One of the judges is suing Jake Paul as well.
Yes, I heard about that one as well. Yeah,
interesting. I get the one. I agree. One more fight, and Kate Taylor needs to bow out, whatever.
Yeah.
Serrano, yes, but you all remember Serrano's coming up from 2 weight classes the last time round.
Yeah.
She is coming up from 2 weight classes. So,
Flowz, the scary thing is though, she came up from 2 weight classes and she looks stronger than Katie.
Yeah,
that's a strong woman because she was one that was dominating physically, despite her being naturally, she's meant to be operating. She's operated at a smaller level for such a long time. But
So, but then there's other people that's like, look, Michaela Mayer wants to move up to that division. And it's Baumgartner.
Baumgartner, I was gonna say Baumgartner's name has been thrown into the hat.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential fights out there for Katie.
The winner of
good fights.
Cameron and McCaskill as well has been touted as potentially an opponent. We'll get on to that.
So she's fought McCaskill before. Did McCaskill drop her, or am I bugging?
No, I don't think he dropped her. Has she been dropped? I
don't think she's been dropped. But McCaskill, I think, gave her some problems at points in that first fight. McCaskill was hating heavy. That surrounding fight. Heavy hating. So there's fights out there.
I remember the commentary was crazy for McCaskill. Oh, I said, yo, you're
The
not
whole-
even, you're not even gonna try and hide the bias. Yeah, you're really.
Yo, it was funny. So even just for that, yeah, I'd like to see that one run back. But yeah, there's a lot of fights out there for her, but then we can see signs of her getting caught more, and
Yeah,
she's achieved a lot already. So I'm happy to see her bow out, but still, if she wants to hang about, there might be a few potential L's out there for her in these big fights. So
I mean, yeah, if she carries on getting tagged the way she gets tagged against, a bigger puncher, for example, it could be a bit peak for her. And we've seen her get hurt, as you've seen. Serrano was able to hurt her, etc. So, yeah. She sells out 80,000 easily, right?
I hope so. I hope so.
I was thinking, I was debating it before coming on, and I'm there thinking
80,000 is a lot.
I was gonna say, I was literally for 80,000 is a lot of people, but the Irish do support their own in droves.
Yeah,
and she is an Irish hero, an icon. They call her great Ireland's greatest ever sports person. So, yeah, it's a big ask, but I'm gonna be positive, and I like to think that she does. And obviously, that's huge for women's boxing. That happens.
they show like MSG, but yeah,
MSG is a fraction. MSG is like what, 20K max?
Yeah.
80K.
And even that was, we weren't sure to be tough, too tough. I wasn't sure.
We would, yeah. 80,000 is a lot, but I trust the Irish too.
Yeah, it's an Ireland, and if they put it as a last fight kind of thing,
yeah,
and they've been starved of Katie Taylor access, so
yeah,
they might all turn up for her. They should do it. Ireland turn up.
Yeah,
maybe get Conor McGregor on the undercard or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if he's there promoting it as well, Dublin boy too. Like, that'd be massive. That'd be massive. Get all the Irish people, find Robbie Keane and them, man. Like, dig them up, man. Robbie Keane, get him involved, man, for the promo, man.
Yeah, they can get a good undercard and mix it up.
Yeah.
Conlan, get him in on the undercards.
Yep.
He's with Matchroom. He's with Matchroom, yeah.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, all Irish kind of card. Yeah. That'd be dope. That'd be so cold. That'd be so cold for Ireland as well.
It would.
Yeah. Cool. Shout out to Katie Taylor. Keeps on winning. Yeah, we'll see how long she's got left in the game, but I feel like now it's a wind down process for her. She get that one big cash out fight at Croke Park. Perfect send off in front of the home fans. All right, man. We got to segue over to America then now, Flowz. Big fight that we got to discuss. Vasily Lomachenko, the return against Jermaine Ortiz. This is going to be an interesting one to break down, Flowz, because of the fact that last week we were both very bullish about how Ortiz is being fed to the wolves here. It's too much of a step up. Lomachenko is probably going to embarrass him, probably make him quit, all that stuff. I'm here first and foremost, Flowz, here to offer my apologies to Jermaine Ortiz in this camp. And I say that because what he did yesterday and what he showed me yesterday, it was a lot. He showed me a lot, Flowz. He showed a lot. And I was, to be fair, we correctly wrote him off because of the fact that we used logic. We've seen this kid fight before. He was good, but obviously there's levels. And then we've obviously seen him fight a certain level of opponent that is levels below what Lomachenko is and operates. But I was not expecting to see Jermaine Ortiz, Flowz. And I say this, I'm gonna keep it. Let's keep it 100, Flowz. Yeah, he was beating up. He was beating up Lomachenko in portions yesterday. And look, it's crazy. It sounds crazy. He was beating, bro. He was out angling him, out jabbing him. Every time it came physical, he was roughing him up, out, physically dominating him, out strengthening him, as I like to say. he was doing a lot, and it was superb. His hands looked quicker. He was letting his hands go. He was out punching him and out working Vasily Lomachenko. This is the Matrix, high tech Loma. Like, this is a god in boxing terms, right? And for a good portion of that fight, Ortiz was boxing out of his skin. And I was so impressed with his kid. So impressed that even though he took the L, and we can discuss in terms of whether it was deserved or whatnot. Even though he took the L, I'm so impressed with what I saw from this kid that I need to see more from him. He stepped up massively in a major way yesterday, and he really gave Lomachenko hell in large portions of that fight, which I never saw coming. So yeah, shout out to Jermaine Ortiz, man. Wrote him off, but I'm a fan from what I saw yesterday, bro. Honestly, that was a superb performance from him, even though he didn't get the W.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I can't lie. Super impressed. I too want to apologize. I wasn't familiar with your game. Even though I've seen it before, it was more like, this is a bad step up.
He's never boxed that well, though.
Yeah, and he's never done. This is his first 12 round.
First 12 round. That's what I'm saying. It's insane. Flowz, he's been fed. They fed this Kim to Loma to lose badly. Let's be real. How can your first 12 land? Well, deep it. How could your first 12 rounder, Flowz, be Vasily Lomachenko? Yeah. Is that not mad? He's a rookie.
Yeah, he is. And what was crazy for me was the confidence. He was bono punching. He was fading. He was even Ali shuffling the points.
You see, so it's so easy for a young fighter, a rookie, as we say, to fight someone of this magnitude and be in this type of fight, and sort of be like, sort of shrinking violence here for those in terms of just sort of retreating to their shell and just be a bit scared of the moment. He wasn't at all. He was embracing the moment, and he was boxing with so much confidence and fluidity. It's just so impressed by what he did. And from what I could tell, Flowz, as well, he's got a very good ring IQ.
Yeah.
You can tell that he's a smart kid in the ring. Very good ring. I also love the fact that he, if you notice as well, he took direction from his corner every single time. Yeah. The corner would say, do this, do that, and he would do it. And so that's, very good performance from him. Very good performance.
Yeah. Watching it was a high level fight because when one pulls, the other would shove. He stepped forward when he needed to step forward. He controlled the way his distance control. I love when someone's, because obviously we know Lomachenko has the angles. He would step into Lomachenko with his shoulder, push him off, wrap him up when he needed to, step out when he needed to, pivot when he needed to. Yeah. He was using all these tools. Yeah. And obviously firing out the jab. The jab was firing.
The jab was superb.
Quick jab. And he had his backhand ready to pop off as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And impressive. The jab was really, really instrumental in his performance. And after round one, Flowz, there was a welt under Lomachenko's eye.
Yeah.
After the first round, he was bruised under the eye. And that was because he was just eating jabs constantly eating jabs in that first round. I, like you, I'm a fan of a boxer that works behind the jab. Throughout his entire fight, apart from when he sort of slowed down towards the second half, latter end of the fight, but for all the first half, this kid was flinging out the jab constantly, as you said, quick jab, quick, boom, 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 boom. And everything he did was set up behind the jab. And we say Loma will angle you to death. And I said the king of angles, Loma is. I'm seeing he's getting out angled by this brother. like Loma will do this thing, obviously, when he's looking to angle, obviously he punches you in combination in a straight line and he will step and then hit you with another, sort of angle towards the side. I'm seeing this kid mirror him basically, but in counter, opposite directions, so that Loma couldn't even do what he's doing. And he's bigger and I guess faster than Loma, so he was able to pop off quickly before, obviously because he's got long arms as well. He was able to beat Loma to the punch every single time that happened. And I'm there thinking, yo, this is your first major fight, and the maturity you're showing me is insane. Like, it's off the scales. Apparently, these two know each other very well because Lomachenko, they've been sparring partners for a couple fights before, etc. So Loma's come out already and said, I think before the fight, that obviously he knows this kid, and he said he highly respects his kid's boxing skills. And when he was saying all that, Flowz, I just thought, man's just being polite. You know, the ones where you just, you're trying not to, because obviously Loma's quite polite, so he's not going to rubbish the opponent. I just thought, you're just saying that you're being polite. You probably pieced him up in sparring, but I fully believe it. Loma was bigging up this kid's IQ and his boxing skills and say he's really, really smart in the ring. I'm just like, yeah, right. Come on, man. Come on, Loma. I'm not buying into this, but clearly, from what I saw, this kid is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loma's been having good sparring, it looks like, because this kid's the real deal. I'll be so honest. Even comparing it with the Teofimo fight, if that fight was 1 round, let's say the 12th round is 1 round, that was more of an impressive display than the Teofimo one, because Teofimo one, while it was back and forth, there was portions where Lomachenko was washing
having his way. Yeah.
But there was no portion where Ortiz was getting washed for a sustained amount of time.
Yeah.
Even I guess we're going to get into the scoring and the rounds, but even when it was, all the rounds were close. All the rounds were close. And
all
that's
close
because
competitive
Ortiz's
rounds. Yeah.
ring IQ as well. You wouldn't let...
Flowz, what I liked, when he started to slow down and Loma started to up the pace, obviously Loma started fighting. I think the last 3 rounds specifically, Loma was fighting with urgency. I hadn't seen before. This is urgency that you saw in the Teofimo fight, like, oh crap, I need to put some rounds together now so I can get this W. Even though, yes, these were the rounds where Loma was now outlanding Ortiz. What I liked what Ortiz would do, yes, he knew he was getting outworked, but he was, like I said, he still gets competitive, and he would still look to steal the rounds by being active in like the last 45 seconds, for example, and letting his hands go and pushing Loma back and stuff. So yeah, literally, it wasn't him completely getting dominated like we saw when Loma was building up ahead of steam against Teofimo. This Ortiz guy still had the wherewithal to sort of know that he's still in the fight, and he still was able to offer resistance back, even though he was starting to, like, I guess, lose rounds a little bit. Yeah, fighting behind the jab flows, I loved it. Most of the early rounds I was giving to this kid, to me, just off the fact that he was being more active than Loma. And yeah, fighting behind the jab and countering Loma and hitting Loma with good combinations and clean shots as well. Very clean shots. As like I said, I liked when they were in the clinch. This kid will then start to, rough up Loma. Like it was working. And obviously, you notice a size difference. He's big. Well, then again, everyone looks big. Loma's small. I keep saying this. Loma is actually small for this weight class. All these guys look massive compared to him. And this Ortiz guy was no difference. He looked a lot bigger than Loma, and he made sure he used it. Just like Teofimo made use of his size, this could also made use of his size. Loma was Loma to me, right, Flowz? But in fact, no, I'm disappointed with his performance. I say that because if you notice, Flowz, Loma wasn't really jabbing.
Yeah.
He wasn't really jabbing like that. He was just looking to obviously work his way in and then get off his angle combinations, pretty much. He wasn't really jabbing too tough. He didn't really go to the body. Both fighters didn't really go to the body, but Loma specifically wouldn't really invest in the body. He was head hunting throughout. I don't know. I felt like he was just looking for the big shots almost, Flowz, He wasn't really we tend to see Loma fight behind the jab and stuff. I don't know if because he knew he was losing the battle of the jab so easily that he thought, I'm just going to go for the big power shots and that will get the judges' attention, which obviously it did. But yeah, no, I was a bit disappointed. I wanted to see a bit more jab work, but to be honest, the way this kid was jabbing, I don't know how effective Loma's jab work would have been, because this kid was taller and rangy, obviously, and had quicker hand speed. So I don't know if he would have been able to. But yeah, no, I was a bit disappointed in his lack of jabbing and his lack of body work. The footwork and the angles were still there. Obviously, I don't think he's going to lose that. But yeah, man, just those rounds where he was getting, I was just thinking, what the hell is going on here? Like, you're getting roughed up here. It's mad.
Yeah. To be honest, Lomachenko typically, when we watch him, he takes like the first 3 rounds to down the data. He's one of them, man. He was starts, and that jab from Ortiz was lightning quick, and we've seen the effectiveness of the jab with the Teofimo fight, where Teofimo was jabbing to the body really a lot, and using his strength and power to keep Lomachenko at bay. And Ortiz, while not jabbing to the body, he was firing at that jab. And not allowing Lomachenko to get in his rhythm. He was firing out. It was a quick jab. And while not only this jab wasn't always landing, let's be honest. It was gloves. It was in front of him. Yeah. But it was quick and it was always there for the most part. So I think it deterred Lomachenko for trying to get into a jab off of this dude. Yeah.
That's the thing with a good jab as well. Listeners, it's not all, obviously it's good to score, but jabs don't always have to land. It's just more the fact that it's disrupting you. When you're coming in to set up your attacks, which Loma was trying to do, the fact that the jab was coming in so quick and sharp, that's already disrupting you, and you're having to reset, kind of thing. So it doesn't necessarily have to always land, but it would just, to me, more just be a disruptive influence. That's what that jab was there to do, really. Yeah, man. Let's
Bro, how do you sweat?
I was gonna say, yeah.
Who won? Let's get into it.
I gave it to Loma. Just about though. But like, from what I'm trying to remember, I scored it when I watched it again this afternoon. I think I had Loma. I think I gave it to Loma off the basis of. I think I gave it to him by 1 round, essentially. So I had it even for long. Obviously, I had this kid up by quite a bit, and then the second half, Loma sort of brought it back for me. And then obviously he finished. I definitely gave him the last 3 rounds as well. I thought those were like easy Loma rounds, and I think from that final round, or heading into that final round, I had Loma ahead on my cards. So actually, it might have been 7-5. Actually, I think I gave it 7-5 to Loma, but it was mad close. But I did give it to Loma still.
Man, Loma lost, man.
You gave it to Ortiz. Fair.
Yeah, Ortiz. I gave 7-5 to Ortiz.
Ortiz.
I could see a draw. If it was a draw, I'd be happy with. But bro, I think once again, the story of the fight was controlled by Jermaine Ortiz. He was the one with the output. He was the one who was showing more ring generalship, I feel, because whenever Lomachenko would have success, he would also try to steal rounds and make it difficult to score. Yeah.
So he was stealing rounds toward like he was trying. Sorry, I'm gonna say he was trying to steal rounds.
Yeah,
when the going got a bit tough, like I said, the last couple like a minute 45 seconds, he would then explode.
Yeah. Which will make it difficult.
Yeah.
But for me, the early rounds, I think by the halfway point, I had it 5-1.
Yeah.
Maybe no. What did I have it? Because I think I gave Loma 2,
yeah,
5,
okay,
and the last 3.
Okay.
I think that's what I had.
Okay.
So yeah, and even those rounds were close, and some of the ones Ortiz won were close as well. But I just think I was super impressed with what he was doing.
Yeah, he was unreal.
While all of the shots didn't land, which is why I was giving Lomas some of those rounds, because I was looking, all of the stuff you've been doing has landed really and truly. But just from the way he was controlling the fight, and if you were watching it half asleep, you would think Ortiz won in my eyes. Because
probably.
Yeah, you'd have to pay attention to score this fight. Yeah, to make sure Loma's getting the rounds he deserves. Yeah. In my eyes,
I'm not mad. I mean, like 7-5 for Loma for me, but I'm not mad at a 7-5 Ortiz. It was. I think the fight was highly competitive. Both ways.
No robbery. Close fight though.
Yeah, and you can see, brother, that on both their faces afterwards. Loma, big patch under his eye. Ortiz, busted nose, or I think he was bleeding some portions, also welts under his eye, etc. So they both will, put the beatings on each other. They were both really, really competitive and throughout, which was, I guess, such a shock because you're expecting Loma to wash this guy. Yeah, I don't know if this is a Flowz. Before we get onto the judging score, actually, no, let's talk about the judging scorecards first, because obviously they were a joke.
It was the third round. The third round I gave to Loma. First, because I was about to say, third, fifth, and the last 3.
Okay. Scorecards, obviously all in favor of Loma. UD, as predicted. Well, not predicted, but obviously when you know it's going to the distance, and I knew and they raised Loma's hand. Obviously, I'm reading, and when they read out the scorecards, I'm there thinking, this is too wide. This is controversial already, based on the fact that it's too wide. I think one of them was 117, 111. I think one of them was 117, 111. Can't really have a 2, but that's the one obviously that stuck out to me. Don't know how you could score at 117, 111. It was a highly competitive fight between 2 guys that put it all out there. The favorite will get the decision, as we know, Flowz. That's boxing, unfortunately. It is what it is. Haney was in the crowd. You know what they're trying to set up next. So, yeah. Harsh for Ortiz in that sense. But I hope that people who saw this fight, and obviously listeners who haven't watched it, go and tune in, because it's on YouTube. You can take in this guy because he's very talented, and I definitely want to see. My ears are perked up now. My eyes are on him now. You get me, Flowz? We've got to see what this guy's got to offer. I feel like he's got more to offer at 135. He should fight Kambosos. Let's see.
He beats Kambosos still. I'll be so wrong.
I'll just
it's a good fight.
Actually,
it might be this Ortiz stepping up to a level like fight that be skin kind of thing.
Again,
it'll be a good fight though.
Again, it helps the fact that he knows Loma.
Yeah.
If they're sparring partners, they know each other very well. But I think that's a good level to see where he's at. Kambosos is considered someone that's decent, solid in the division. So former champion. That'd be a really good fight for them to set up. But yeah, no, he's very, very good, this Ortiz kid. Yeah, Loma. Flowz, are we saying this is a faded Loma or just Ortiz being a lot better than what we give credit for? Or was this a poor Lomachenko performance and something's like, because some people will say, oh, Loma's losing it now, etc. You know how boxing fans are, very reactionary.
I'm gonna be reactionary, bro. Get out of 135, Loma.
Oh my gosh, he's too small. He's too small.
It's too small. Like before,
it's not his fault, but yeah.
And let's be a buck. The fights he's lost have been due to size.
Yes.
His first loss.
The Salido one.
Salido, where Salido blew up and came in.
Yeah.
Huge. And even though he probably won that, Salido was just so big. Teofimo, too big for him.
Yeah.
Haney's huge. This Ortiz guy is huge.
Yeah.
Shakur's bigger than him.
Yeah.
He's too small for that weight class. There's a reason why there's weight classes. Skills can only take you so far.
Yeah. He's been punching above his weight his whole career, really.
Yeah.
Credit to him.
Because you can't walk through these punches, even though he's trying to walk these people down because he's got the head movement, he's got the footwork. They touch him and he's feeling it. He's backing off. He's getting dashed across the ring. He's getting roughed up.
That's he's getting ragdolled.
Man, and because he's a competitor, because he's so skilled, he can hang. But they're putting their paws on him. Get out of there, man.
Boy.
But we've said it before, he's punching above his weight. Like he's
really
too small.
Yeah.
Because we like him and these guys are competitive in the division. But let's keep a buck, man. Get out of there, man. And he's getting old.
You don't want to see the Haney fight next?
He loses.
Yeah, he loses. I think he loses. But do you want to? I want to see it though. It might as well. Bro, we've come so far. We might as well.
Yeah.
Haney came into the ring. I don't know if you saw the post fight, all that stuff. But obviously, Haney came into the ring. You know, basically said, him. Obviously, Haney and Bill. See, Bill won't be far off. This is basically obviously talking about, do you want it? Loma was like, look, it's all I've been talking about. 4 belts, let's do it. Actually, funny enough, look, you know what Loma said when he looked at David? He said, "What is this a lightweight?" He said, "This lightweight." Because Haney's looking heavyweight. Because obviously Haney's big, and you can see Haney's towering over him, and obviously Haney's out of competition now, so you can tell he's putting a bit of poundage. Obviously, he'll strip all that down for the thingy, but yeah, Haney's big, and the size difference is crazy. So Haney, obviously, Team Haney, they're on it. They said, send over the contract, etc. We'll negotiate. Lomachenko has said as well. So I rate Loma. He does, as you said, as we've highlighted on this proper four flows, certain people in the 135 and 140 division, they talk a good game, but they're not really about it. Lomachenko is one of those guys I know he's on smoke and he's looking to fight all the time. And Lomachenko said he's happy to make every concession that Team Haney wants him to make in order to make the fight happen. So that's obviously being the B side and taking whatever money they throw at him, etc. Lomachenko's happy with all that as long as the fight gets made. And I truly do believe that. I do believe Loma's about that. So I don't feel like it'd be a hard fight to make. We're here now, so yeah. Even though I do think he's going to lose, I want to see it. I want to see 2 skilled competitors go at it. And unfortunately, as they always say, a good big one beats a good little one. Usually, that's what they usually say, right? And I think that's going to be the case with this one. Haney's going to beat Lomachenko. He's going to put the paws on him, and but I think it'll be a good fight to watch, anyways, from a skill perspective.
Yeah, I think the fights that we really wanted to see from Lomachenko at the time was maybe we definitely wanted to see Haney and then man fight. Tank was definitely one because Tank is smaller than these men as well. He's a lot smaller, and that at 130, 135 would have been interesting. Mikey Garcia was one we potentially wanted.
Yes. Back in the day,
back in the day. These young guns have kind of come in, and it's like, oh, we wanted it at a point where it's like a passing of the torch. The torch has already been passed out. Haney's undisputed.
Yeah.
Shakur's the one.
Yeah.
He's catching them at the wrong time now. He could have caught them at a good time, but now they're ready for him now. And he's obviously been on the, I'm about to say on the couch, but he's obviously been away from boxing for like 10 months, and he came back. And so, Loma's been in and out. His focus been 100% there. So, yeah, it might be. You asked me last week, is it time to get Loma out of there? It might just be.
Yeah, I did. Because what, he's 34 now. He's 34 now.
Yeah.
I feel like if he does want to continue, have this fight with Haney, take your L, and if you do want to carry on boxing still, I feel like you've got nothing to prove. He could retire. If he does want to go back, then he has to go down to 130 again. He can't continue 135. Go down to 130 and see out the rest of your career there, perhaps. But yeah, he's seeing the difference the size does make, and it's not, like I said, it's not no fault of his. He can't change his body type. He can't change that. Shout out to him for this is why he's great, because he punches above his weight, and that's why I respect he was on the pound per pound list, etc. Because he shouldn't really be on this division at all. But here he is. Using that tremendous skill he has. But these young boys are hungry, man, and they're skilled too, and they're big. So yeah, but yeah, he got the W. Scorecards were atrocious, as we knew they'll be. But yeah, one big shout against Jermaine Ortiz, man. That was a superb performance. I want to see more from this kid. I want to see more. Clearly very talented. Yeah. He's got a lot in his locker, I think. I'm looking forward to what they Top Rank do with him. I hope they do right by him and they'll just like put him in the cabinet now and just keep him over there. I think he showed enough to do well.
What they should do, they should move like, what's it called? PBC, and start hyping him to the moon. Like Isaac Cruz.
What, like Isaac Cruz?
See, I told you this guy will do. Don't wants to fight it. That's what he should do.
Oh, the Isaac Cruz thing is so funny, man. so funny. But yeah, shout out to Loma, shout out to Jermaine Ortiz. We'll see what's next for them. Okay. Before we preview the fight for the weekend, Flowz, there was one more fight over in the US that I have to mention. Yeah, man, it's another L for them MMA guys, man.
We were talking about something else.
Yeah, man, another one of their goats. There's been, hey, man, Jake Paul's coming like the legend killer. When Randy Orton came WWE, was the legend killer. He was killing out all the legends in WWE. That's what Jake Paul's doing, man. Taking out all these MMA guys, man. It's peak. But yeah, he's officially. I saw Silver's considered like the goat like of MMA. I feel like he is, and yeah, man, he ran into Jake Paul, and it's another L for him. But yeah, I didn't watch the fight, but I saw like obviously little snippets and stuff. I saw Paul dropped him in the 8th round. Paul's gonna keep doing this, you know. He's not gonna fight a real boxer. He's just gonna keep fighting these MMA guys and getting the money from this and stat padding basically, because he can beat these guys. Let's be real. He called out Nate Diaz afterwards, so you know what they're gonna try and do next. So yeah, he's good. He's very good at his marketing thing as well, Jake. I give him that.
Yeah, it's what it is. Like, you people need to Jake, like what we've said it before. Jake Paul's a boxer, and you MMA guys who keep thinking that you can hang. Yeah, you can't hang with this guy. He's a legit boxer. Yeah. And all this talk about him, he needs to fight a real boxer. He will watch them. He will watch real boxers as well. I'll be so real with you. There's a couple. He could go 50-0 fighting real boxers. So yeah, that drive will work. Yeah. The same thing that all these pros do, he can do the same thing. He's not going to put himself in with a serious test. Why not? He's going to ride this unbeaten wave for now. I would like him to fight a proper boxer, like a decent boxer. But yeah, I just know that you don't fix what ain't broke. And right now, this formula that he's using is working perfectly. He's rattling people, and he gets to beat them afterwards. Like, so he's happy doing that. So he's happy doing that. So I know he's not going to change. I wonder what would happen if he fought Tommy Fury. I would have expected him to lose against Tommy Fury.
Obviously, if he beat Tommy Fury should never box ever again. But I would have thought he would have lost that fight still.
Yeah. What I will say is people keep trying to discredit this guy by saying, "Oh, this him saying he's a YouTuber, he's this and that, he's a Disney kid."
Yeah.
Then he'll take on an MMA goat and go, "Oh yeah, of course he's gonna beat him. Of course he's gonna beat him."
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Of course he's gonna beat him? You know, Anderson Silva whacked up Chavez.
Yeah,
that's a former champion.
Yeah,
that's a former champion.
I forgot he beat Chavez. That is so peak.
Beat Chavez.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't rate Chavez.
Yeah,
but that's
Chavez,
a former champion.
But yeah, no, he was. I think 2-time champion. I'm pretty sure.
He might be 2-time.
I think he was 2-time. So, still, yeah.
So if he beats Chavez, if Jake Paul beats Chavez now, will you say Chavez ain't a real boxer?
Yeah. It's true.
Okay then. Let's not try to discredit him, saying, "Oh, of course he's gonna win. Of course he's gonna win," because you man was saying he's a YouTuber.
Yeah.
And he shouldn't play boxing.
Pick one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, as well, he stuck it on afterwards, like post fight. He stuck it on Dana White because I think this would have been Silva's highest payday, as in this fight. So apparently, he stuck it on Dana White and ripped him. He's like, "You look, expose Dana White to say, look, obviously, look, MMA guys have said that Dana White isn't really paying these guys much, and they're not really getting much money. And obviously, the disparity between boxing and UFC pay is crazy at the money they can make over here." So yeah, apparently he stuck on Dana White for that one, and yeah, we'll see the aftermath. I'm sure Dana's quick to respond usually, so he'll probably say something back. But yeah,
I think that back and forth has been going on for time.
For a long time, yeah, it has been. Yeah,
yeah. I didn't watch the fight. I think I saw the clip of the knockdown or whatever.
Yeah, I saw the good knockdown actually. Good clip. Yeah, sure.
Is what he is. Yeah.
The and problem
it's funny that he joined out the professional retired boxers like Bellew and Carl.
Yeah. He's a draw out, isn't he? He's a big draw out, Jake Paul. He's funny for that. All right, cool. On to some real boxing flows, because we do have a good fight to preview this weekend. This upcoming weekend, Saturday the 5th, over in Abu Dhabi. Dimitri Bivol, fresh off that career win against Canelo. He has a defense. He's defending his title. It's a very tough defense as well. He's up against Zola Ramirez, who was a long-time title holder at light heavyweight. No, at super middleweight. So he had WBO super middleweight title for quite a long time. It's a shame we never sort of stick around and saw him got to unify, but he did defend it like 6-7 times before he moved up to light heavy. He's been at light heavyweight for a couple of years now, Flowz. I think he moved up in like 2019. So he's had about 5-6 fights at light heavy. And now he's got his shot. This is on paper. Obviously, the casuals might not really know about this fight, or might not know about these guys. Obviously, I guess Bivol, there's some eyes on him, obviously, because of the Canelo W. So that people don't know Bivol, but not many people will know Ramirez, I don't think, unless you follow boxing. It's a really good fight, man. Really, really good competitive fight. Zerdo is good. He's very, very good, actually.
Ooh.
And so is Bivol. So this has the making for us to be a cracker, to be honest. I can't pick a winner. Actually, no. See, I like Bivol a lot. Obviously, I like Bivol a lot. And Bivol is someone who we've highlighted before in this pod that he's very skilled. And although he doesn't have the concussive power as his Russian compatriot in Beterbiev, what Bivol does bring is work rate and relentlessness. And he stays on you. And he always does enough to just win rounds. It's hard to describe it, but you know what I mean, Flowz. He always does enough just to win the round. Like he will do what needs to be done to win that round and to stop you from doing your thing and sort of do what you need to do. As opposed to Zerdo, who obviously he's tall. Ramirez is about 6'3", so he's been taller in there. Very rangy. Not as quick as Bivol, but very strong and sort of sturdy. I think just off from what I've seen from both fighters, I favor Bivol, but it's almost coming like a 50-50 to me, Flowz. I can't lie. It's a tight one because I do rate Gilberto Ramirez quite highly. I do think he's really good. I think Bivol does carry. I think the speed edge just from the speed edge and the sort of the volume edge that Bivol brings will swing in his favor. But yeah, it's a tough one to call, man. It can go over way. It can go over way on this. Honestly, it
Yeah,
can. Yeah.
I agree with you. Everything you said is pretty much spot on, to be honest. Bivol's intelligence in there is what wins him rounds as well. He's, like I've said before, a smart fighter. He'll do what he needs to do to win the round. He'll step on you when he needs to step on you.
Yeah.
He'll respond when he needs to respond, just to not give the judges reason to give you the round. And yeah, he doesn't get drawn out as such. Zerdo's, I wouldn't even say sluggish is the wrong word.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
he's not as fleet-footed. Let's put it that way.
Yes,
he's big. He'll walk you down, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Power in them hands. He's stopping people for real.
Yeah,
he's putting them down. I think when the fight got announced, I was worried for Bivol. I was like, Bivol could lose this really and truly.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, I remember. No, he could. He could. It can go either way.
I was like, yeah, I was like, yo, Zerdo might hurt, because I think actually no, Joe Smith Jr. caught Bivol at the end of the round and maybe stunned him a bit, but it was like after the bell. And I think Bivol ate it.
Yeah.
So I think that's the only one time I've seen Bivol kind of hurt. I think I might say Zerdo's probably bigger harder puncher than Joe Smith Jr. maybe.
Potentially.
Yeah, he's big. He's big, and he's what's his knockout record? He's been stopping people.
So he has obviously 44
like 70
wins,
plus fights.
44 fights, 30 come by the way of knockout.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
But he stopped his last. Zerdo stopped his last since moving up to. In fact, he stopped since moving up to light heavyweight. He stopped all his opponents.
He stopped everyone.
Yeah, since moving up to.
But he wasn't really stopping everyone
at super middleweight. He wasn't really massively. Yeah, he wasn't really massively stopping people. That's why people. I think people.
Yeah.
I remember at super middleweight, some people called him boring because he wasn't. He was out. He was dominating opponents, but he wasn't getting them out of there.
That's why I come up with this. That's why I said sluggish kind of thing.
Yeah,
yeah.
But so far, since moving to light heavy, he stopped all his opponents. So he's on a bit of a KO streak.
He looks good at this weight.
Yes, naturally.
He looks better this weight because he's coming from even smaller than super middleweight. He was fighting the middle.
Zerdo at one point.
Yeah. He's been fighting a long time.
I think he might have started off at middleweight.
Maybe when he was,
but obviously,
when he was younger.
Yeah, he started off at middleweight. Yeah, he did. He started off at middleweight. And obviously, he was a titleist at super middleweight for quite a while before he finally moved up.
I want to back Bivol just because I think the skills and the IQ, and Bivol knows how to fight people taller than him. He's not the biggest light heavyweight.
Facts.
He's not. And he's been fighting people bigger than him.
It's just the work rate, to be honest, Flowz. I think Bivol will, like I said, when he needs to turn up, he turns up, and he really lets his hands go. And he's quick. He's very, very quick, Bivol.
I don't think he's going to sit there and allow Zerdo to tee off on him. He's going to be wary of that power, and he's going to avoid that power, and he's going to do what he needs to. And I think he's got a good enough chin as well.
Yeah, he does
to take the power as such. But Zerdo throws good punches. He goes to the body. He hurts people. That's a fact.
He's a good fighter, man. He's a very good fighter. Has been for underrated. I don't say underrated, but he's someone that you look at that record, Flowz, 44 fights, unbeaten, 30 knockouts. You're thinking to yourself, this guy kind of should be a bigger star than what he is. He's definitely someone that's gone under the radar. Because at super middleweight, he was there for time. And this is when Callum Smith was champion. Caleb Plant wasn't even in the mix at this point. It was Callum Smith, obviously BJ, he was there. Benavidez was in the mix. His name was coming up, but Caleb Plant wasn't even a fixture at this point. And Zerdo was there for quite a while, hanging on to the WBO belt. And there was always small talks about. He was one that his name's never got mentioned by the other champions. You get me? Like, Billy Joe will say, I want to fight this person, or this champion, this other champion, but none of them, man, talked about Zerdo. None of them. I feel like they always feel like, don't really want no problems with this brother. And obviously, when he moved up, it made sense because he's, like I said, he's big, he's tall and rangy. Similar dimensions to Callum Smith, but just more filled out, if you know what I mean. So it's on paper, it's a cracking fight. I feel like everyone kind of wants to see the. I think the plan for the light heavyweight, I don't call it a plan, but what people tend to want, obviously, is the fact that they want to see the two Russians go at it. to become undisputed. And as you rightfully said, this is a potential banana skin for Bivol for that to happen. But I do want Bivol to win for that because I do want to see the two. I do want to see both of them get it on. It'd be cool to have that in Russia or something. That's a massive fight. You've got the skill guy versus the powerhouse. It makes sense on paper, right? To see Bivol and Beterbiev. But this is a tough test he's got to get through, boy. Tough test he's got to get through. It's peak, yo, because see, we said that we felt like the future of the division lies with the UK. But Flowz, we can't lie. Obviously, we said that we don't want our fighters to be fighting the Russians because they will lose. But Zerda's another problem in itself as well. He's not food either. Like he's around, so
and that's why we called on the UK guys to fight each other and also fight the other people. There's other people in that division that are good acid tests, really, because Zerda's tested himself against people in that division. Sullivan Barrera, took him out. They need to stop fighting soup cans. Not even soup cans. They need to stop fighting European level and random. There's world level people. People are just there's still names in that division.
I mean, look at Yard got his fight's been announced recently, and it's against another random, right?
I don't know who it is. And while it's a keep busy fight, you should have been keeping busy, really and truly. But I guess obviously Beterbiev got injured or whatever. So anyway, like everyone's getting older, so best move and sharpen your tools properly. But yeah, good fight.
Yeah, really good fight. Okay, cool. So we're both pulling for Bivol. We'll see what happens next week. But it's definitely a good fight to tune into. That's live from Abu Dhabi. The undercard is also pretty decent as well, Flowz, actually. There's an undisputed fight on there, women's boxing. Chantel Cameron, Jessica McCaskill, we mentioned that a bit earlier, didn't we? The winner of that could potentially be another opponent for Katie Taylor. That's a good fight, Flowz. That's a real good fight. Who you leaning towards on that one between Cameron and McCaskill?
It's a strange one because Cameron was meant to unify in the division below. No, what division is this at?
This is super lightweight.
Super lightweight. So Cameron holds 2 belts at lightweight, doesn't she? Because she beat what's the name? Something McGee. What's her name?
Mary McGee.
Mary McGee. And she was meant to fight Callie Reese, who has the other 2 belts. There's like a tournament they were doing. I think Callie Reese might be injured. So she stepped up to fight Jessica McCaskill for all those belts. I believe that's what's happening. It's a good fight. I like Cameron. Cameron looks slick.
Yes, I like Cameron as well, yeah.
I've written off McCaskill a few times against to see the ring. I was like, nah, she's gonna get cooked. And she knows how to fight in those 2-minute rounds. She knows how to utilize them. McCaskill, like the intensity she brings for them, she's good at that. But I like Cameron. Cameron looks cold. Cameron looks cold. It's a hard one to call. It's a real 50-50. I'm not going to stick my neck out.
Cameron, she carries sneaky power as well. For say women's boxing don't really see stoppages, but she's stopped half of her opponents, so she can bang. But it's interesting to see how it would translate. Obviously, I mean, you would say that probably she might have more power stepping up a division, but we'll see if that's the case. But that's a really good undercard fight, and obviously we champion undisputed fights in this podcast, so happy days. It's a huge win for Cameron if she does it though, especially because of the fact that she's coming up a weight class. Obviously, the women's they go up and down easy peasy. So that's pretty cool. But yes, that's definitely one to worth tuning into. There's also another world title fight on the billing, Flowz. I don't know if you know.
Is it your cousin?
No, I have no cousins in the industry, bro. But Zelfa Barrett is fighting for a world title.
Right, we were related. Okay,
I relate to Zelfa Barrett. What do you call Zelfa? The Brown Flash, yeah. He's in the world title fight against Rakimov. That's for the IBF. It's the vacant IBF super featherweight title. It's a big fight for Zelfa still. Came out with I thought I was mad surprised, but I guess the title is vacant. So go.
Shakur's vacated it. Shakur, that's the one Shakur had. Those belts.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, perfect timing for Zelfa then.
Yeah.
Perfect time. now Shakur's gone. Yeah, that division's wide open. Good opportunity for him.
Yeah. So Shakur's vacated all his belts pretty much, I think. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's got this Rakimov guy is undefeated. He had the draw with Jojo Diaz last year. Yeah, I've heard his name before and I've seen him before. He's from Tajikistan. But yeah, Zelfa, it's a massive look for him. I don't know if I'd say he's ready, but if he's fighting for a vacant title, it's not a champion. I mean, you might as well go for it if it's there, right? I do like Zelfa Barry. I do think he's good. I don't know if you're a big fan of him, Flowz, or you rate him particularly, but I from what I've seen of Zelfa, I have enjoyed watching him fight. I know he suffered that loss. Who did he lose to again? The shock loss. Yeah, he lost to Ronnie Clark in 2000. I remember. Yeah. It was a really bad performance for him. That. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that fight. Yeah, I don't know why he just wasn't switched on that day. But obviously, since that loss, that was in 2018. Since that loss, he's sort of won all his fights. Yeah.
Kiko Martinez gave him hell.
Yeah, did. Yeah.
Shout out Kiko Martinez. Another it stops. What's his name? What's that? What's his name? Stop.
Gil.
Yikes. Gil. Yeah. What's it? Jordan Gil.
Gil. Yeah.
Beat him up. Beat him up. So Kiko Martinez is doing his thing. He gives everyone help.
Yeah.
So probably a good win for Zelfa, to be fair. He should take good experience for him. I hope he wins. I hope Zelfa wins.
I hope he wins as well. It's good to have obviously UK champion, etc. But yeah. I was surprised to see that on the card. But yeah, as you say, perfect time. But people can jump on in that division now and grab some titles. That much it calls out of the way. We got Galal Yafai on the card as well, and Cal Yafai, Campbell Hatton, Akib Fayaz. So some decent boxers on the card of this one. Over in Abu Dhabi, man. So it should be a good night. But definitely the main event and the co-main event are definitely worth tuning into. And listeners try and tune into Zelfa as well. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm expecting a tough fight though for Bivol, man. So that was a good opponent, man. But shout out to Bivol. Bivol's putting himself against the best. So he's fighting. His resume, his run right now is looking very good, man. He's fighting good guys, man. So yeah, he's definitely someone also that fights anyone, doesn't duck, doesn't hide. I like that about him still. I do like that about him.
Yeah, and he's active.
He stays active, which is good. Yeah, cool. All right, so that's all. Yeah, that's the previews done. Boxing news. There's been a few things. Obviously, I mentioned that Yard's fighting some nobody, which and adding to the, as I said last week, or was it the week before? These fourth quarter fights have been all stinkers in my eyes. Not been great. This one's good, the one that we just previewed, but a lot of the ones that are being announced, it's like, Tyson Fury's always in the headlines. He's in the headlines again after his interview with True Geordie. I know you watched that. Embarrassing. He's a walking contradiction, that guy, isn't he? I like the way True Geordie handled it though. He handled it sick. Handled himself very, very well. Asked the right questions. Because we said it on this pod before, Flowz. These journalists don't be asking the questions, man. They be canvassing the question, like you said. But True Geordie asked the right questions and he didn't buckle. Didn't fold.
Yeah, most of these journalists are either on the payroll or they're scared to ask the tough questions for that very reason. This is their livelihood. We understand this is what they do. They need these interviews to survive, to live off, essentially. So when someone gets asked simple questions and they don't like it and they say, I'm never giving you another interview, it ruins their whole business. So I understand why these ones don't ask the tough questions. What I don't understand is where you're on the payroll and you're clearly helping the interviewer and pushing an agenda for the interviewee, should I say? It's annoying. I honestly, there's certain interviews like that Gareth Davis. I don't watch any interviews. I don't watch. I don't know why they interview him, but payroll guy. Half these interviews, I don't even click. If I see someone's interviewing someone, there's very few people who ask tough questions. Radio Raheem asked tough questions.
I was gonna say Radio Raheem. We'll go shout out to Radio Raheem, man.
Adrian Broner hates him for that reason.
Yep.
And True Geordie asked the questions the fans wanted to know, and Tyson Fury could have handled it. Resorted to lying, resorted to name calling. Yeah, embarrassing for him. And I think everyone can see it now that he's been a bit of doofus.
He's been a big doofus. Also, actually, you saw the news about Crawford and Broner signing to, was it Black? BLK? Yeah.
That's what I mentioned last episode. They've signed to some random
yeah. So it's Black. Yeah, I've never heard of it. Have you before last week? Have you heard of him before, Flowz? I've never heard of him.
No. Adrian Broner seemed to set the pace when I saw he signed a 3-fight deal with them.
Yeah.
And then I saw Terence Crawford and what's your boy's name? Avanesha. And it's gonna be on that. That's why I haven't seen any promo, because it was in the talks, but I was like, nah, it's been announced because it's just a random channel who announced it. Yeah.
Don't know who this channel are. They must have paid a lot of money to get because Broner is driven by the bag. So
10 million must be paid. 3-fight deal.
Yeah, 10 million. Okay, yeah. There we go. I wonder if we're gonna get that. I wonder if we're gonna get those free. The quality of the opponents in those 3 fights is gonna be hilarious. But because you know, Broner can one day, as you saw, just decide to pack it in when he pulled out the last fight. But yeah, fair enough, friends.
He's been saying PBC can't pay people. That's why he pulled out the fight, because he's like he made up whatever. But apparently PBC our Heyman ain't putting up the money no more. so
basically, what we're saying for us, we're not going to be hearing no more. Shout out to Al Heyman first and foremost.
We're seeing these fights not being made because the money's not there. Adrian Broner's apparently difficult to negotiate with. He's always
yes, everyone says he's very very difficult to negotiate with. And now the rumor mill is saying now that obviously since Spencer and Crawford is just not happening. Spencer got to look for an opponent. For those who know, if you see the rumor mill, that apparently it might be Keith Thurman.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Keith Thurman and Spence. It's happening way too late, but you might be getting your wish. Thurman might be getting out of here.
I don't mind it. It was 10 years too late.
But it's 10 years too late, but I'm all the way locked in for that. Flowz, the press conferences between both. I'm locked in already. But way too late. 10 years too late, as you said. The ghost of Keith Thurman. To be fair, let's not call him the ghost of Keith Thurman because he looked good in his last fight, but it's not the same Keith that had, that was number one a couple of years ago. Keith with the braids, as I like to call it. That Keith was a problem. not this Keith. But we'll see. We'll update you listeners accordingly the more we hear about that one. But yeah, man, let's wrap this up. It's been episode 114 of Strategies and Podcast. Once again, I've been your boy Cam.
I'm your boy Flowz.
And make sure you guys head over to the links on Instagram and Twitter and keep supporting. Peace.
You taking a strap? I'm strapped up.
What was that about?
Let's make the fight happen. We strapped the fuck up.